Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the first lesson of the H module. I'm so glad you're here. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. In fact, I'll say it at the beginning of every single lesson here. I'm glad you're here, and I'm happy that you're listening to me, and I'm happy that I can finally be teaching stuff like this. So this is the big three. This is the first lesson in the H module. We went over the big three habits in the introduction to the H module, but now we're going to take a closer look at why those three habits. So these are the three key habits. If you forgot, the three key habits needed to control your scroll for a lifetime. You like that? Control your scroll? Anyway, these are the three habits that we went over last time. We've got meditation, physical exercise, and goal-focused routines. These are the keys to lasting digital mindfulness. But why these three? Why do we choose these over rollerblading and, throwing darts? Just some examples off the top of the head. Well, I'll tell you why. And it's because these are healthier sources of those three things that we talked about before, which were emotional regulation, dopamine, and we provide a productive channel to put our reclaimed time. So these three screenless activities fully embody the benefits of breaking the cycle of phone addiction by providing healthier alternative sources for emotional regulation and dopamine. Typically, emotional regulation and dopamine comes from your phone, which is the actual devil in this case. So we're replacing phone addiction with these three things, and that's because they provide great sources of emotional regulation, specifically meditation for the emotional regulation. Physical exercise is where we get our dope, and goal-focused routines is a productive channel for us to put our reclaimed time to. Great. So meditation, what an amazing practice that I think everyone could do more of. It is all about focusing the mind via breath work for mental clarity. It increases mindfulness, decreases stress and anxiety, and promotes introspection and awareness. When was the last time you just sat with yourself? That is, I'm diluting it so much, but that is at its core what meditation is. It is sitting by yourself, with yourself, for yourself. Physical exercise, where we get our dopamine, is, like I said before, it's like servicing the machine. I think that's so important, especially as I get older, definitely. I just turned 26 and I got a clicky knee, so I got to keep that in check. It is all about servicing the machine. It enhances mood through feeling accomplished. That's the whole point of working out even, or sports or what have you. It's that accomplishing feeling of doing something that feels not only good for your body, but also good for the rest of your life. And it has built-in dopamine with clear goals and outcomes. So that's where physical exercise kind of regulates and provides a healthier source of dopamine. And lastly, goal setting or routine building is where you channel your reclaimed time. So after you've implemented meditation and physical exercise into your life, what do you do with all your free time and leisure? Well, that is where you start building goal-focused routines. So identifying something that you want to achieve and building the correct habits to reach that outcome is all encompassed in goal-focused routines. It has a lot to do with motivation, self-discipline, and purpose, which is why I'm so excited, because that is, I think, what we're all working towards at some point in our lives is a higher purpose, right? I want to call out here the only wrong way to meditate, as we're on this subject here, is to not do it. My mom says that all the time. The only wrong way to meditate is to not do it. So at least for me, meditation has always been such a tricky thing to not only learn, but also implement into your life, just because there are so many different ways to do it. But the act of doing it and the desire to want to do it is really all that you need. And combine that with consistency, and you've got a recipe for something that is nothing but great for your life. So let's dive into meditation a little bit more. Healthy emotional regulation with meditation. Meditation is the healthiest way to emotionally regulate yourself and better understand why you're feeling the way you are. I want to write that down here. Why you're feeling I think that's so important. Understanding why you're feeling the way you are. And it's not like you're gonna sit down and meditate and all of a sudden have a light bulb, a literal light bulb go off in your head. It is just a way to spend time with yourself. And that is, I mean, such a beautiful thing to do, especially now in this day and age. Sitting with yourself and understanding how you're feeling, not only mentally but also physically. It's just such a holistically good thing for you. So that's why it is our choice for healthy emotional regulation. There was a study published in Frontiers in Neuroscience that says that even brief meditation significantly decreases responses to negative emotional stimuli. So if there's something negative going on in your life, if you're around someone that you don't like or something happened at work that stresses you out, even taking just a few minutes outside and taking a deep breath is a form of meditation and will help you feel a little bit better. So just recognizing that and understanding how powerful meditation is what we're trying to communicate here. You can meditate to feel more grounded and make more informed decisions. I think, especially for me, whenever I get stressed out, I sort of go into fight or flight panic mode, which is a very regular thing, and maybe you've experienced it too. But taking a step back and literally taking a breath is something that is so clarifying to what needs to be done and what actually should be done. To get better at emotional regulation means that you'll reach for your phone less because you'll rely on it less, and you'll rely more on the one thing that you should rely on when it comes to emotional regulation, which is yourself. So just to illustrate that here, once emotional regulation goes up, phone use goes down. And that's what's so important here is understanding that emotional regulation is the thing that needs to increase in order for the other thing, phone use, to decrease. So increase emotional regulation, decrease phone use. Just that simple. And when I say simple, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek because nothing in this realm is as simple as it should be, which is part of the fun. The next thing here is improving your mental and physical health with physical exercise. The dopamine that you get from physical activity is much higher value than the dopamine you get from scrolling. Imagine that. Things that you do in the real world with your real body are much more satisfying than sitting in your bed at night scrolling through TikTok watching memes. A study published in the Lancet Psychiatry journal said that people who exercise had a 43.2% less chance of having a bad mental health day. And I want to write that number down because that is basically 50%. I know it's not 50%, but that's 43.2%. That is a big enough number to turn some heads. At least it turned my head. People who exercise had 43.2% less of a chance of having a bad mental health day. And all you have to do is go work out with the thing that you're in right now, this meat suit, this body. You just have to move it a little bit. Obviously, I'm oversimplifying it. It's just staggering to see that number be the differentiating factor when it comes to having a bad mental health day or not having a bad mental health day. It's working out. Working out has a significant positive effect on mental health. And there's a number of reasons for that. Not only is the dopamine present there, but there's also a communal aspect, depending on what you do. I think, just being around other people, if it's not a solo workout, being around other people is such a huge part, at least for me, when it comes to feeling better just about myself. Exercise regularly. The more you work out, the better your mental health, right? The better your mental health, the less you reach for your phone. So again, to illustrate that here, we have working out, if that goes up, and if we have an increase in mental health, then we have a decrease in phone overuse. So it's all about improving the healthier sources of emotional regulation and dopamine in order to decrease the one thing that we don't want to increase, which is phone overuse. So increase working out and your mental health, which happens sort of simultaneously, and you'll decrease phone overuse, which is, that's awesome. That's all we want, right? The last thing here is making your time work for you with goal-focused routines. So again, once you've reclaimed all this time from scrolling on your phone through meditation and through physical exercise, all of a sudden you have a lot more free time and leisure on your hands. So setting goals and creating routines is the best way to spend your reclaimed time from doom scrolling. It's a stair-step system that just works. And, one step leads to another, and it just makes you feel way better. According to Northwestern Medicine, goal-focused routines help you manage stress more effectively. Who doesn't want that? I feel like, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. So much of the waking hours that you're alive, or that you're awake, or that you're at work, or just being a person, I feel like is so aware of stress and being stressed. And that shouldn't be the way it is. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's the whole point of making goal-focused routines, is to be less stressed and to really take that to heart and to take that as seriously as possible, because that is not the way that we're meant to operate. Stress is not a natural state of being. I think joy and feeling content is. And if you felt those things, then you probably share the same sentiment. It leads to better mental health, these goal-focused routines, and obviously there's more time to relax, less anxiety, which who doesn't want that? So again, to illustrate this here, once our productivity and spare time goes up, anxiety and screen time goes down. So improving your routines and then also making them more focused, on goals is another great way to not only channel your reclaimed energy and time, but also just to feel better about yourself. And that is exactly what we want here. I mean, that is the whole thesis of the human experience, is just feeling good and feeling better about yourself. After reclaiming your time with meditation and physical activity, putting effort into establishing goals and routines is a win-win. Goal-focused routines make it easier for you to get off your phone, and they reduce stress. So it's just something that we want to focus on a whole lot more, especially as our time frees up a bit more. So let's talk meditation. That was another sort of high-level overview of the big three, but I'd love to talk a little bit more about meditation specifically. And again, we'll break down all of those big three in the coming lessons. So again, so happy you're here. But before you go, make sure to reference your journal here. Make sure to fill out those different questions. They really help for reflection and just helping you understand this content a little bit more. So the big three, the three key habits needed to control your skull for a lifetime. Which of the big three habits, meditation, physical exercise, and goal setting, resonates with you the most, and why? Can you envision it replacing the emotional satisfaction you currently get from screen time? Let me know. Write out the answers here. You can type them out, but writing is preferred. At what points in your day, week, or month can you envision practicing one or all of these? So think about the times that you could probably slot in a little bit of meditation or a little bit of a physical exercise or making a routine. Think about the times in your week. When is that? Maybe it's not like you have a chunk of free time, but maybe it's you can sneak in a walk here, or before you do this, you can just take a few deep breaths. Think about those times in your week and write those out just so you know that they're there, and just to prove to yourself that you can. And lastly, think of a recent situation where you tried to regulate your emotions with screen time. How did you feel after? Do you think the habits discussed above would have resulted in a different outcome? So think about a time that you reach for your phone. We'll talk about it later, but there's a certain word that I can't wait to unlock for you that makes reaching for your phone feel bad and feel awful if you're reaching for your phone in order to go on social media. Think about the times that you reach for your phone and why you do. And once you do, sort of examine how you're feeling at that time. And maybe you don't have the answer now, but as you go throughout your day and continue on, if you find yourself reaching for your phone, try to catch yourself and try to recognize how you feel, and then write it down here, because I think that's very important for understanding how to move forward. So that was the second, or I suppose the first lesson in the H module. Thank you so much for being here again. I can't wait to continue on. Meditation is such a thing that's near and dear to my heart, that I've been doing for my entire life, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Maybe I won't wink at the end.